Right. Hello. Good morning. Let's see. Okay, so I'm gonna be on this side for now. Yeah, so I haven't streamed for a few days. I've just been using CodeSpark, watching the ecosystem, everything happening. Made some reflections of my own using CodeSpark, and even though I think it's an improvement over the dark box of agent orchestration, we're still not there. I don't feel like I am the one deciding what to do. It's still the agent that decides what to do. Or not what to do, but how to do it. And I think that's a big problem. So I had this mental image in my head, so I'm going to try to see if we can get anything out of this. So the way we develop things is that we're going to have square people. These are, wait, we should have circles here. Make it a bit more obvious. How do I change the circle? There we are. So the way you work on something is that you're in a discussion, right? You work in a team, you're in this discussion, someone has a signal that we should do this thing. And then you go into a discussion and you might have like an engineer, might be a designer there, you have a PM there. Like everybody's like collaborating and discussing how are we gonna approach this thing at a high level. And as we're doing that discussion, my brain is already like picking up on things, right? I'm creating this like mental image of how to approach this in code already, because I have a shit ton of context of operating in that code base from before, right? So when we do this, we don't create a plan. There's no plan, there's no need for a plan, because everyone in this team, they've been working on this code base for a while, and we are aligned on how things work and what we can do and what we can't do and what we should do and all of this stuff. This is the magic feeling of working in a really well functioning team. And there is no plan, as I said. And another thing is that when I leave that discussion, I'm not a blank slate. I bring that discussion with me into the next phase, which is to actually work in the editor. And what's interesting about building up context about a code base is that it already starts with the files. So completely unrelated to any language you're writing or the specifics of the code, it all starts with, oh, I have a source directory, for example. Let's see, I can make this a little bit smaller. And in that source, or maybe you have a monorepo, right? And all of this, like this is really funny, how well, I think a file structure is the thing that reflects the amazing thing about the brain the most. Because if someone asks you, like, tell me exactly the tree structure, like folder structure of your project, you probably wouldn't be able to tell that. But when you think about like new concepts and things you want to put into the code base, and especially when you see the structure, right? Oh yes, this is familiar. I know this. It's just there. It's like if you can't remember a name and then someone tells you the name and you have all these neurons just turning on, and oh, now I have a clear picture of everything. It's really, really interesting. Anyways, so even if you're not thinking about the code, you're thinking about where am I gonna put this new thing? Maybe you have like a modules thing, or maybe you have a utils folder or whatever. The point is that even at this point, maybe we should just do this. Even at this point, structure, you're structure. So even at this point, you kind of started coding, right? And then after that, you go in and you actually do coding. Now, the thing that's really interesting that I think gets lost in the experience of agentic coding is that you don't change one thing. Well, you do change one thing at a time, but in your brain, you already have hooks in all the different files. So you actually have multiple files you're working on at the same time, and you have like these tags in your brain on how these files are going to connect together, but practically you can only work on one of them at a time. And the reason I bring this up is because when you have these inline agents that helps you within one file, they don't really make any sense, because you really want to just change something within one file. It's all kind of connected, especially when you do an implementation. So coding is jumping in, and I'm also fascinated by this. I remember working on like one of my first projects, and just the sheer complexity of that project and how anyone could ask me about that code base, and I would actually know where, like, even like which part of the file where that code was. I've been working with that code so much that I had this insane intuition about everything. Yeah, whatever. Oh, what happened? Oh, wait, what happened? Hey, is it like this? Oh. Foo equals bar. Anyways, and then you do the coding, and then you go and you push the thing to, well, maybe not GitHub anymore, as I understand is having some issues, but typically you push this stuff to GitHub, and you create this PR description, and this is where things often fall short. Because you know the code base so incredibly well, you make all these sorts of assumptions about what the reviewer is going to know about the code base, and you typically write these shitty PR descriptions, even if you write any at all. And when the reviewer comes in and looks at the diff, like, they don't really know what's the context here, why did we make this change, and so on and so on. So this experience here, in my mind, with like how we used to do things before AI, it's just really, really shitty. And this is where I think AI can really help. But anyways, so let's put cognitive depth. Now the thing is, this is how you build understanding of your code base. You're discussing with your colleagues about the project. You're creating all these hooks based on your existing context of the code base. You're building this up during discussions. You're building it up as you're looking at the file structure, creating new files, deleting files. You're building it up as you're interacting with the code, and so on and so on. And the amazing thing is, like, none of these steps becomes a blank slate. Not even after you've created your PR. It sticks with you. It's a human feature that's just amazing. So the next time you go and implement something and you go into a discussion, you actually remember what you did last time. You've updated your understanding of the file structure. You updated your understanding of the code. Like it, and the funny thing is that it's far from perfect, but we have this amazing, and I guess AI kind of made me reflect more on that, but how amazing it is, this thing we call intuition. Intuition is like the inability to explain something clearly, but you just know how it works, kind of. It's like driving a car. You don't know, well, back in the day when you didn't have automatic gears, like you don't you don't know, like if someone's trying to teach you how to drive and you ask them, well, how do you drive? How do you do the stick and how do you do the clutch? Is that what you call it? And they're not able to tell you because they just have an intuition. It all happens automatically. And that's intuition, right? And that's where you, and that's something that AI doesn't have. It doesn't have any intuition. Every single step here is like a blank slate for an AI. So just to compare this, the discussion here is more like conversation with AI. Well, AI. It's a black box AI. Black box AI. And then what comes out of that is like a plan, but you're still in this black box. Right? So everything is just this black box. You don't know and you don't learn anything about the structure. And how should I put this? So if someone, okay, look, this depends on the team, of course. How do you actually get, you might still be discussing, right, as a team, what you want to do. But what we're moving towards is that you're not even part of this discussion. You just get this ticket, right? With all the context. And that context is engineered to be put into an AI as a prompt, right? And then you put that prompt into the AI and it's going to start to ask you, like it's going to start investigating your code base, try to find things, and then you're supposed to help clarify things related to the code base. And so on. And then it starts working, it starts changing the file structure, but you don't really perceive that because it's all a black box. Like you have the conversation, you see the tool calls, but it doesn't build your mental image. And then it does changes to these files and you have no insight into the code. And then it all ends up on GitHub again. And then you're supposed to review that. Now the point is, if you're not doing this, you're not able to do this, right? If you don't discuss with your colleagues, other engineers about the code base, in the context of changes you want to make to it, you don't use a file structure as the highest abstraction of how your code base is organized, and you don't do any coding, you don't build any context of the code base. And that's what we mean about cognitive depth, is the practice of actually coding as we do traditionally, is the thing that is required for us to even review the stuff that comes out of AI. So if we don't do this, we can't do this. But if we do this, why are we doing this? So the question is more, it seems like we've gotten to like two extremes. Like, should we just do what we were doing before? Or should we completely change the game and only use AI? Like, it's two extremes. And the answer is there's like something in the middle here. There's something here. And exactly what that looks like, nobody knows yet. Everyone's trying to explore this. Oh, thanks for the, yeah, I had, sometimes I get into a flow. It doesn't happen that often. I'm so surprised by how some YouTubers, how they're like consistent in their flow, like their engagement, their ability to explain things. I'm very much up and down. Like I have periods where I'm like in the flow, I'm super engaged and I have a lot to say. Other times I don't really have anything to say. So I kind of go off grid. But anyways, yeah, thanks for the feedback. It's really nice of you. Anyways, so CodeSpark, this is CodeSpark, like trying to find something in between these two where you prevent the cognitive depth. I didn't know that before. I love this term. It's becoming a thing. And it is the term that we use to explain what's happening when we do agent orchestration. The cost of agent orchestration is cognitive debt. And then you can discuss, where does cognition about the code base come from? And this is my statement. This is where it comes from. And then the question becomes, how can we still leverage AI without degrading your cognitive understanding? What's the opposite of cognitive debt? Cognitive investment, I guess. So CodeSpark tried to do this using something called breakdowns. And it worked really well. Like, it was a really nice way to actually work with the AI, and it felt better than the black box. So breakdowns is just, instead of doing plans, and you kind of build up this huge ass markdown for the AI to consume and do everything on its own, it would rather create a breakdown for you. So you could click through the breakdown. It would tell you each breakdown step is tied to a specific file. So as you navigate through the breakdown steps, you would open the file. It would have context on what needs to change, and you would be encouraged to go in and make those changes. But you can also go in and just click the thing, and it makes the change. Now, the thing is, my worry was originally, if I don't code, I'm going to lose my ability to, I'm going to, gain cognitive depth if I'm not doing the actual coding. So that was kind of the perspective of CodeSpark as is. It's like, I have to do the coding. But I am currently depriving you from actually planning your own implementation. I'm not letting you go in and create the files and really think through what you want to do. Like, everyone has these breakdown steps in their mind, right? When they approach an implementation, I'm depriving you of that with CodeSpark, because CodeSpark creates that for you. And I think that mental breakdown of planning out how you want to approach something, if you're not able to do that, it means, okay, so this is the important thing. My realization is, if you are not able to create your own breakdown steps to approach an implementation, it means you lack understanding of the code base. So you're already in a bad place, and AI can't help you. Well, AI shouldn't be doing anything for you, right? Let's see if I can make that more clear. Let's see. Let's do this live. Do this. That will be do that. Then this. So breakdown steps. So, because I think this has been really hard. Like, what is a strong signal of you having cognitive depth? And I think this is the strongest signal. It's when you aren't able to produce a breakdown in your head of which files to visit, which files to change to make this implementation work. Not specifically what code to implement, but just understanding where changes has to be made, right? Yeah, sure. For sure. Though I'm making a huge ass change to the project, which this stream is really about. So stay tuned for that. So yes, so this is the signal. And this is what I've been noticing using CodeSpark now, is that I'm just lazily telling CodeSpark, okay, this is what I'm going to do. It creates the breakdown steps for me. I just click through them. And what's happened now recently is that I just click fast edit. So it also makes the changes for me. Like, this is still better than this flow where everything's a black box, because I do get conscious about what files are being affected. I'm interacting with the steps. I might ask questions about the steps. So it's definitely better. But I still think it's too close to, like, we're still too close to this. We're somewhere here. And I want us to be closer here. Yes. So what I've been working on is a very different way of approaching this. Let's see if I can make this run. Let's create a new one. Okay. So now there are no more breakdown steps. What I've done instead is to think about what is coding. So if you think about coding as like the practice of typing on your keyboard, you could say that coding is changing this title into something else, right? Into hello world. And that's true. And that's kind of the premise of an inline agent, right? I don't have the shortcut for it, but an inline agent will be able to help you with specifics inside one file. And then we kind of jumped over to, okay, let's go and just let the agent do everything, and it's going to figure out the files and everything. While CodeSpark at least breaks down what files it intends to touch, but it's still the AI that decides what files to touch and what needs to change in those files. But that should be flipped. It should be you that goes and figures out what files needs to change and what needs to change within those files. That's the point. That's how CodeSpark moves from up here to down here, closer to what we're actually doing now. So I was thinking about, like, how would you be able to do that? And I think you have to express that in the code. And then the question becomes, okay, exactly how does that experience look like? And I was thinking about, it's kind of funny because I have this to-do extension in I think I have it here as well. Yeah. So you have these to-do things. And then I was thinking, oh, do I have the shortcut here? I don't think I have the shortcut. Let's see. Readme. Yeah. Let's see again. Oh, it's there. It's synced. Fantastic. Okay. So the point is that I'm gonna die on a hill keeping this part of a team process, which is human beings getting into a room or a Zoom or whatever together and talking about how to implement something. The day we don't do that anymore, I'm fucking out of here. This is why I enjoy work. It's collaborating with other human beings and discussing what we think is the best approach of solving a problem. That is like fundamental to human nature. But that's outside the actual editor, right? And then the point is that you need to have enough understanding of the code base to start building this mental image of what needs to change. And you would go and find the files and create any new files or whatever it might be. And then the idea is that you go in and just say what you want to do with the different files. So I've changed the shortcut to, instead of opening CodeSpark, it does a code comment. And this code comment, let's see, I'm just gonna, oh, why doesn't it have, that's interesting. It should have a color. Maybe I should just ignore that for now. Okay, I'm not sure what happened there. Anyways, so the code comments, they are context aware. So it creates a type of code comment that fits with the current code. So you can see in JSX, it creates like a JSX code comment. So I can say change title to hello world. That's what I want to do there. And then up here, I want to modify this to change to direct export. But I can also change the type of change I want to do. So I can continue hitting Command Shift I, and it goes to add. And this is important context for the AI. Like, am I going to add some code, or am I going to change some code? Am I going to delete some code? And you just go through it, and you make this direct export, named export. And these are like silly changes, right? Of course, I would just do this manually, but that's kind of the point as well, is that you have to type something. You have to do the practice of coding, which is expressing what you want to change. And if it's a change that takes a bit of time, then you would reach out for a comment. But if it's a simple change, you can just make the change, right? So it's the same way to do it. It's writing in a file. And the point is that when we do this, something magical happens. Because when you use an inline agent, the only context the inline agent has is the thing you're pointing to and the change you want to make then and there. So if you have a mental image of like 15 steps and you use an inline agent isolated for each step, that agent isn't going to perform well. But if you go in and you tag everything you want to change, when I ask the agent to go in and make these changes, it's going to have the full context of all the steps and how everything ties together and all of this. So it's going to perform much, much better. And the hypothesis here is that when you do this, when you are the person that goes and finds the files and creates the files and deletes the files and create the breakdown steps in your head and basically do basic engineering, but instead of applying the actual code changes, but expressing it in natural language, and then you apply an agent to go and do these things, that's not going to degrade your cognitive depth. Or, yeah, I don't know. Degrade cognitive depth, is that how you express it? Produce cognitive depth, I guess. It's more of a correct term. Anyways, but there's a bug here. These are supposed to be highlighted. I'm not sure why they're not. But now, if I apply this, well, the point is I can still use the agent to ask about stuff and do all of these things. But when I apply the changes, as I say, like now it has the full context of all the changes. And it's not like a surprise that it does the right thing. But also the point here is that we're kind of going, instead of doing the black box project-wide changes and in, which requires a lot of context retrieval, we are going inner out. So we are saying, this is the point, this is the file you need to read, and then we go and collect context outwards instead. So it's much, much cheaper to make those kinds of changes than doing the project-wide changes. Yeah, this is VS Code. Yeah. Yeah, and this is what I'm reflecting on, and I want to try this because even though CodeSpark is a cool experience in its current state, like it looks great, I did a lot of work on making it feel good, it just doesn't solve the problem I'm trying to solve. but this is closer to what I wanted to solve. Let's see if we can actually fix the highlighting. Let's see, I don't think I have the latest version of oh, you have to excuse me, I have allergies. Yeah, hello there. Hello. That's a good approach, but I still prefer writing code. Yeah, and that's the thing. It's ideally, so I guess a lot of these reflections comes from, I don't know, I wouldn't say like my employer puts any pressure on me. It's self-imposed pressure that comes from the ecosystem at large, which is you're gonna move 10x, 20x. You're just gonna orchestrate agents and all of this stuff. And I am not disciplined enough to evaluate for every single change if I should write it myself, or like what abstraction of AI tooling am I gonna use for this specific thing. I need like one consistent experience that keeps me in the driver's seat and prevents the cognitive depth. And it feels natural to move between, okay, I'm going to write this myself, I'm going to use an AI to do it. And it should feel seamless in the sense that I don't want to be in the flow of writing code myself, and then suddenly I'm a little bit unsure how to write that specific code. So then I have to move into an inline agent, wait for it to write that code, and then it gets it wrong because it's such an isolated context. Then I would much rather do what I'm doing here, which is to, okay, I'm just going to use a comment for this. Kind of like how we do it already. You create a to-do of, okay, I'm going to get back to this. Let me continue in my flow kind of thing. But I completely agree. Like, if you, like, the best way to learn something is to actually code it yourself. That's just a fact. So, and for me personally, I would love that we didn't have AI, because then there was no other way to do it. You would actually have to learn the craft. And as part of learning the craft, you train the muscle, right? Because you just keep coding. Yeah, I'm so curious where we end up with this stuff. Anyways, reload window. Yeah, you should watch the stream from the start. But I had some reflections. I'm trying to find a way to find an abstraction of agentic coding that doesn't produce cognitive depth, which all AI tools do now. Let's see. So we used to have color highlights on the code comments. So this is me. Like, this is a strong signal. Like, I have no idea which file that does that highlighting, because I've been YOLO coding this extension. So this is the signal I'm talking about. I don't have any breakdown in my head on how to fix that coloring issue. I don't even know where to start. So I just go back to AI and I don't learn anything for the keywords. That stopped working. What is happening? And the way I was thinking about CodeSpark in its current state is that, okay, at least I can ask about things. It can help me figure out stuff. But then I'm going to make the change. But now you're going to see what's going to happen. Looks correct. Oh, interesting. Yeah, because this was working on my other computer. Let's see if it's still working there. Oh, interesting. Oh. To do highlight? Yeah, this is interesting. Why doesn't it work? Is it because I have to do highlight on the... Oh, it works on my other computer. But yeah, we're not going to spend any time on that. I just wanted this stream to be about how I'm going to pivot the project to keep exploring. As I said, wanting to move CodeSpark from being very close to AI and causing cognitive debt. I guess this is... Yeah, I want to move it on the other side of cognitive debt. And that's what I'm trying to do here. So I'm going to make those final changes and release it. And then I don't hope too many people are using this. But I'm trying to help. And then we'll see. I'm going to use it for an implementation today. And then we're going to see how it feels like. I'm curious about that color though. Why didn't it highlight it? Is it because I have the... Does it lean on the to-do extension? That's weird. Anyways, but yeah, that's my rant. I have some stuff I need to do, so I'm going to stop streaming. But thanks for all the encouraging comments and all the reservations. I think all engineers are different in what kind of experience makes them efficient at what they're doing. It's like how people approach the same things differently. So it's how our brains are wired. Some people are very visual. Some people like to listen. Some people need to do to learn, and so on and so on. So this is very much from my perspective and how my brain works. So I'm not trying to solve AI tooling or anything. It's more about the message of we have to be really, really, really conscious about what's happening. It's only been 4 months of being able to use agent orchestration to actually build products. It's 4 months. Like, people discovered this in December, and then like during vacation, like Christmas holidays, and then coming to work in January, and then just starting using this like crazy, completely out of control. Nobody's thinking about, or it doesn't feel like people are thinking about the long-term effects of this. And we are engineers, we love technology, and we're fascinated about this tool. But we're really, really, like, for every single PR created with Claude Code CLI or Codex or whatever, you're creating cognitive depth. Like, that's a fact. And what's that going to look like in a year? Yeah. I love it. Technical depth. That was our biggest concern. Now we have cognitive depth. Whoever coined that term or started using it in this discussion, amazing. Amazing stuff. Anyways, thanks again, and bye for now.